It's been an absolutely terrific start on the Supercoach side of things. A cracking score last week of 1155 leaves me with a great season rank of 7,767. I used one trade the first week, 3 in the second, using one of those boosts, and I'm really tempted to use that boost again. I'll speak about my potential trades this week. I see with just so many trades available, obviously I've used 4 so far. You're starting with 46 there, and only being able to use 13 players in all of the major buy rounds. I really think that this year, especially, trading early, getting your team as good as possible, whether that is using a couple of boosts and maybe saving 1 or 2 trades over that first 5 or 6 weeks, is going to be the best way to play it. 3 boosts I probably think would be the max, but it's only 3 trades. It's not 4 and 5. You're not going absolutely crazy in those weeks. And if you are setting up your team really well for the major buy rounds, what I mean by that is just getting a few weeks in advance, collecting those type of players that are going to be there. Maybe you're thinking now of picking up players that aren't going to be Origin affected. You might have a guy very similar to the other. One plays Origin, one doesn't, and you can use them over that time. Maybe they play in round 13, they don't play at round 14 one, whether it's some of those Eels players, Dylan Browns and stuff like that, who we'll look at as a potential option for my squad as a trade in for Adam Dewey there. But 1155, there is not a great distance between me ranked at this point and guys being ranked in the 30,000. It's only a couple hundred points there, and each and every week, if you get that captaincy right, it's very easy to go really well in Supercoach. So let's go to my squad for the week there, 1155 as I said. And we look down the line, and not too many guys that went really poor. Sam Walker was one of my main guys that had a bit of a shocker, but you got Cartwright up there, 53, Tedesco at 60. He's someone that is on the chopping block this week. I think there's definitely a reason for you to hold on to him as well. But when you got Reece Walsh, for example, there at a couple hundred K cheaper price, and is going to make you cash this week, Tedesco on the buy, I think it's an easy one to go to. And then maybe Tedesco is a player that you can use either late through the buy period or in the back end of the season, as always, because he's one of those top 2 guns. Sammy Walker, I think, is a clear hold this week, with them kind of struggling a little bit last week for attack. That was the big reason why Walker didn't score well. Base stats have been okay, except for last week as well, and he obviously got the try assists and tries in the first 2. Harry Grant as captain was the play this week, and I think he's probably the play again in round 4 here. Wade Egan, I did bring him in for the cash grab and potential for attacking stats, which he seems to get involved in a lot at the Warriors there. Thankfully, he got his head injury late in the piece, so he's someone that obviously get a good cash grab from him. And then I think he will continue with the attacking stats, maybe not every week. His base is sort of okay to get you a 40-50. And then when he scores well in terms of attacking stats, then he'll get you that 70 or 80. And is a hold for now because there's not an amazing plethora of options in that hooking position. Stagsy, held on to him and he had the bounce back of 92. So thankfully and hopefully, him scoring well provides him an opportunity to go, I can do this week in, week out. But he is that sort of 20 guy into the 80 or 90. So Stagsy, that's that on that one. They have a nice run, the Broncos there, obviously, which is very helpful. Carrazza brought him in last week, got a 62, and that's terrific for him to get that in base. And there'll be weeks here and there where he can get that 100, and he'll be a keeper in that center wing position. Adam Dewey with the 28, so he was one of our lighter spots this week. Him, guys like Christian Welch, I'll speak about in a second, didn't score so well. So Dewey's on the chopping block this week. It's either going to be Dylan Brown or Cam Munster are the 2 options I'm looking at the moment. There's really not too many in that 5'8 position. Obviously, Schuster is one, but you can wait on him till next week. And are you going to have Schuster and like an Isaiah Katoa in the 5'8 position? I don't think so. Teague Wilton's been a great starter in our sides since round 1. Really happy with his output. Tommy Trbojevic at the 103, he needs to be in everyone's side. He will play a couple of tougher matchups here, obviously with the Bunnies this week. And then in a couple of weeks, they got Panthers as well. So they'll obviously have game plans surrounding him. But having Schuster as a really nice third great option as a scorer and a guy that they have to worry about other teams, Tommy could really unleash this year, and he needs to be in everyone's side. Hopgood, the 45, a bit of a down one. I had him as vice. I probably should have had Tommy, but I went Hopgood there thinking he could go nuts again. Didn't happen. Thankfully, I didn't captain him. And Harry Grant was the solid one last week. Brought in the hammer. Good cash grab. He's getting scoring pretty well. managed to have an okay game on the weekend. The 55, you take that at the 330 price. Fafita was one of our lower ones as well. Not too exciting last week. Didn't get the full 80 minutes in that heat, and hopefully that changes this week. And we will hold him through round 5 most likely, pending injuries. Christian Welch got the lower minutes in that heat as well. I think he's someone that you can look to not stress too much about. Thankfully, in this game, I had Harry Grant as captain because Fafita 49, Welchie 25 was not very exciting at all. But finished off the week pretty well with Alamotti 78 playing him against the Tigers. That was a bit of a no-brainer. And then Preston, he's 69, got a little sneaky line break in there to score well, and he needs to be in everyone's 17. And then Joey Tarpany, he hasn't had one of those big games yet, and hopefully this week or the next is going to be one of those. So he's a clear hold in your squad. In terms of my bench guys, or the reserves there, Isaiah Katoa, 27. Okay, he made a little bit of cash. Egan Butcher, 49. Time for him to go with that bye. He's not going to be one of those guys that is going to be scoring multiple tries or being able to get that 70 or 80 week in, week out. It looks like he's just not suited to that edge. A lot of errors and stuff in his game as well. Davy Moale, 25, was solid. Khan Pereira, 65. Thankfully, Davy probably gets a little bit more game time this week with Totola out, and also Shaq Mitchell, unfortunately, going down with injury. So I think we can hold on to Davy for a little bit longer. Khan Pereira starts his money making now with the 65. So he picked up a couple of tries there on Warbrick, unfortunately, who got the 14. So if you had to play him, I know a lot of people went for him in this one. Not good at all. Ben Merrick-Pasilla, there's still a little bit of hope for him left, but not too excited with him for sure. And then holding on to Cleary. Knew that was going to be big news coming back for us this week, given that, if you could still score well in round 3 without that much money in your halfback position there, which a lot of people traded him for. DCE was a popular one, unfortunately, and a few others. I'm happy I didn't go for DCE in that trade there. And then Taruva, he can still be played week to week, but it'll be an interesting one against the Eels in this one. If you're looking at my public league, it wasn't too exciting. I did score the highest in this, so that's the easy way to see kind of where you're ranking before the lockout happens. But yeah, not a lot of great scores in this one. I'm not obviously being a little bit more new to the Supercoach circles. I don't have many groups of friends that are playing it and are able to get me a really strong classic league. But if you're one of these guys watching my video that's in here, thank you for being a part of my lovely league. But that's that. And then we're going to go through obviously my trades potentially, and then all of the games here as for the best options going forward. So Tommy, I spoke about him being a great option in your side. Ruben Garrick continues to score really well, so get him in at some point. For sure, he'll be one of those clear keepers, wing fullback, the center. Plenty of spots you can pop him, and he's going to do great for you. Olakawatu, 2 tries in this outing. He was very low until those 2 tries, so that's that. Schuster, wait on him for a week. Kohler, I think you can still avoid at this point, just without the regular attacking stats, let's say that. You've got DCE, who had a bit of a poor game. He will bounce back from that. If you've got someone like Kepi on the bench, that's okay. You want some high scores out of him for sure. On the Eels side of the ball, Dylan Brown getting 88 is very exciting. How he's going to go this week against the Panthers, I'm not too sure about, but from round 6 onwards, so he's got to get through 2 weeks, he's been able to score well against better teams, so that's not too much of a stress. Points have been up though. Could be lower against the Panthers here. I'm still thinking about popping him into my side. Gutho had a decent game. Hodgson there, if you're owning him, was solid. Moses is a little bit lower, but he'll be fine. Penasini in there. Bryce Cartwright all had good games. And Hopgood, definitely he'll be fine. Don't stress about him too much. We'll move to the Knights and the Dolphins there. And look at those scores in the Knights team. It was only Lockie Miller that turned out to be a really good one for those that started with him. I just felt he was a bit too expensive, and these are the games that will happen sometimes. I doubt he'll get a try or 2 on a regular basis, so I wouldn't be chasing him. Leo Thompson had a big minute game and still wasn't able to score super well, and he's obviously someone of interest with how many players they have out at the moment. Kurt Mann is back though, so I'd be avoiding him at the moment. You got guys like Tessie New, who had 107. He scored awesomely over the first few weeks. Again, he's someone that I'd be looking to avoid. Just a little bit of a flash in the pan, kind of a couple of games for him. And then you got Asako as well, back with a vengeance after that round 1 smashing game. Round 2, not so good. Round 3, 81. So he's got the highest amount of points in total for the NRL at the moment. Tom Gilbert, he's someone that I have interest in bringing to my side. It's going to be him or Payne Haas as a clear front row forward options. Gilbert has the dual position, which is going to be really helpful, especially when needing the 13 players to fit in your team nicely. Lemuelu, he becomes a really good option this week now with guys like Felice Kafusi out. for 4 weeks. It looks like he had the starting spot anyway with Kenny Bromwich moved to the middle. Kenny should come back into that edge position now, given they have a bunch of middles on their bench and one of them can start in the front row position. The Hammer, clearly a hold, guys. I think he's going to have really good games, and then hopefully he can have games like this where he kind of still does okay, gets a try assist or picks up a try contribution, something like that, and he can do a good job for you. Other than that, not too many options in the Dolphin setup. Katoa, just holding him. I wouldn't look at Teague or Ray Stone at this point. I just think they're not clear bring-ins for your squad. Okay, let's move to someone like Jackson Parlour there. So he had a terrific game, 2 tries for him. Pretty expensive though, so I think you can avoid him. Teddy, hold or trade is completely fine this week, especially if you haven't used all of your allotment of trades so far. Then I think it's obviously a little bit of a luxury trade. He has had opportunities in both of those last couple of games to score really well and it didn't happen. But that's that. Nat Butcher you're holding. Egan Butcher's a sell. Brandon Smith's a sell, even though he got the 54. Get rid of him now, especially in the buy round. That's a good time to get rid of him. He's been losing cash. Colin Matangi, clearly one of the best 2RFs this year. 104. He's obviously picked up a little bit in the base stats as well. And then try scoring opportunities are there as well. Campbell Graham had a terrific start as well. A couple of tries in the first game. Yeah, a bit lower in the second one, but back to his best at 91. So he'll continue to be a good option. Latrell Mitchell, you're clearly holding him at this point. Murray, I'm seeing a few experienced coaches are looking to trade him out. He just hasn't scored well enough. Base has been okay. No attacking stats. Last week he got the line break, thankfully, but still only 61 points. So not very exciting if you're owning him. I think he's a hold or a sell. Whatever you need to do with him because he's priced so high. Someone like Damien Cook, a bit of an annoying one, 58. His attacking stats will come. I wouldn't be stressing on him. Totola out for 3 to 4 weeks. Cheekham, continue to hold if you have him. Center wing, he's doing a good job, but he's on the bench now, so maybe you try not to play him. I expect probably 40 to 45 minutes off the bench in that one for him, and he'll be able to do a solid job for you. Titans and the Storm are very much a weird game with how many points were scored. So if you have a lot of the middles, I think they're worth a hold. The Welchers, these types of guys. If you had attacking players, then it was great going. Camp Pereira, top scoring with Kelly. So that doesn't show too much, does it, as to how this game was scored. Tino with 54. He's very frustrating at the moment, but still averaging pretty well. Obviously got the 100 odd last week, so take the good and the bad with Tino. Foreign got hooked early on in the game, which is annoying, came back. Fafita, the 49, he just didn't get the big minutes. Bit too hot for someone like him, the big body, unfortunately. Tanner Boyd, hold or sell, that is fine. You got another week on him. Aaron Clark is just bleeding cash, so a frustrating one for him. Nick Meaney should continue to do well. They've got Munster back. They will be without Hughes for a couple of weeks, so that's frustrating. But Meaney will continue to do well. Don't trade him in, and that's that. Harry Grant, still a great captaincy option. Eli Katoa continues to get line breaks, so for as long as he does that, he'll be a great option in your sides. And from there, Trent Leoro, do you hold him? Yeah, maybe one more week and see what happens. He just wasn't his type of game. Warbrick, I think you hold as well. Cowboys, guys, Cotter, clear sell this week. Robson was a good trade in. Val Holmes, 67 without doing a lot. Cowboys have been bad, so do you think that they'll improve? I think that they will. I hope they will, given I'm a Cowboys supporter. But yeah, Val Holmes should be able to get a pretty good score this week against the Titans. I'm banking on a try for him and back to some good form. Jeremiah Nanai, the up and down type of scoring for him, not great. I would be avoiding trading him in. Could you hold him this week against the Titans? I think so, but he needs to step up. Maybe it's the last chance if you're looking to hold in that one. Guys like Montoya, amazing score from him. If you own him, awesome. If you don't, that's fine. Leave him out. Just Tavanga, great score. Very limited minutes off the bench, so see how he goes minutes-wise before you look to pick him up. And then price changes will happen after next week for him, so not a big issue. Tamati Martin, if you hold on to him, awesome. It's a bit of an awkward one, him at 5'8" or wing fullback, so the fullback there. So I think you can hold on to him, but definitely not a trade in. And then other guys down the list, Tohu Harris, you'll have games like this where it's not a tackle-a-thon, and him running for big meters there, so that's that. Sean Johnson, good game overall, but no real attacking stats, so you'd be avoiding him. Bit different to fantasy at the moment, with the base stats being much more important than they are in Supercoach. Stags, you're very happy with his efforts, as we spoke about. Carrigan got the line break and a nice try assist, which was good for him, but other than that, he wasn't scoring super well. Cobbo, he's okay at the moment. Ezra Mam, okay. Hopefully he'll be fine and he'll be able to get back to good scoring. And then on the other side of the ball, guys like Jack Bird, obviously in the center wing position, solid. get to take the 50 or 60. You'll have some attacking stats like you did in round 2 for them sometimes, but it won't come all the time. Other than that, not too many exciting guys in this squad. Little had a lower score. I think you need to wait till he gets at least 80 minutes, and then he'll be able to be a solid option. Benny Hunt back down to earth this week. And then our last two before we get into my trades, guys. So if you're waiting on that, you can skip through to that trades section in a couple of minutes. Dogs v Tigers ended up being a close one, but Dogs were very dominant here. We had some great scores up top. Alamotti, Burton, Adokar, Preston. So left side, much better this week. I think they'll continue to improve there. Burton without the goals, sounds like he had some hamstring tightness, which is not good. But that's why Flanagan kicked and Reed kicked out of dummy half a fair bit. So maybe that was a general game plan. So think about that with Reedy, or he could continue from that, trying to get those 40-20s, that's for sure, is where he's going for. Spoke about Preston. Hayes Perham there. He's a solid one. He'll make some cash as well. One I forgot to mention in Dragons is Tyrell Sloan, and he will make some cash this week. So if you're looking for a guy under 300k, he's about 280 there. He's a solid one to throw in this week. Karaz, a good one to own in your squad. It's very expensive now after that price jump. Ryan Sutton, I think you can hold for one more week and make your decision once TPJ comes back, because that wasn't his best game at all. Bateman, we can wait on. I think definitely. Sean Blaw, probably a trade this week. Kapoa in the centres now, so potentially some try scoring opportunities. So maybe you hold with him. He's done it. He's done really well to kick off this year. Brenton Aiden's been good. Has been good 2 out of the 3 weeks. Very similar to that of Jermaine Osako. So if you own him, awesome. I don't think it'll last though. Glamour been okay. Utukamanu with 48. So he was okay last week as well. So I think he can definitely improve on that one. And he did get the try the week before, but mainly in base in terms of tackles last week. Okay, and we finished off this one with Tommy Starling, who doesn't become an option this week with Wolford on the bench. Horsburgh at 95. He had, with 2 tries there, was great. Tomokos, he's someone you need to keep on your radar. A little bit expensive, but definitely an option. Hudson Young, keeping him in your mind as well after a pretty poor first few games. He had a much better one just for him here, and he's lost a bit of cash there, so keep him in mind. Tarpany as well, looking for a huge game from him would be nice. Harley Smith-Shields, a bit of a low one, not someone that should be on your radar. Do you trade this week? Maybe, but he could be a nice downgrade option to like a Schuster or something next week, or you can use him to upgrade. And on the Sharks side of the ball, we get Nico Hines back. Is he a good buy? I think for the 2 weeks, if you think he's going to come in and dominate straight away, awesome. Otherwise, wait till round 7 there. Very simple with him. Nakora, if he can continue to run those delightful lines, he'll continue to score tries. And with Sharks likely being a good team this year, he'll get some options. Mulatalo, another good score for him. Should have had a better one in round 1 with that Butcher having a try. But he'll be fine going forward. Trindle looks like he's close to a sell, still has a low break even, so all he has to do is step on the park and he'll get some points and some cash gains for you. But yeah, that's really it on the Sharky side, obviously with our man Nico Hines returning. So that's that there. And then we go to my team, and as I said, there the players I'm looking to trade out, Egan Butcher being one of them. I think I'm going to hold Egan because there's no real good hooker options, and he could be a nice scorer going forward. Another couple of price rises, and then we can move him on when something pops up there. Guys like Jaden Brayley are going to go down in price a little bit, for example. So I think that they're obviously solid ones to look at getting in your side eventually. So it says it's going back to the potential trades I'm going to make. So I think Tommy Gilbert's coming in. So the way I'm going to play this is Egan Butcher to Tommy Gilbert, and then I'm going to go keeping Cleary and Walker. I'm going to go Adam Dewey, I think, to Munster or Dylan Brown. I think Dylan Brown allows me to do the trade I'm looking for. The other third one I'm going to boost again is the plan, would be from James Tedesco to Reece Walsh. If I go Reece Walsh, I'm pretty sure I have to go Dylan Brown over Munster. I think either one of them are going to be a good pickup. Obviously, Brownie's a little bit cheaper and doesn't play Origin, plays round 13. So that's the big one for him. Munster's coming back from his poor finger injury. But yeah, I think I would have to do the Walsh trade in for Tedesco. If I'm doing Walsh, I have to get Brown in. Walshy, third game he's going to be playing. He's going to make some cash. Will be the boom or bust type of player, but Broncos have a delightful draw. The way I could have gone with it was Lemuelu, and then moving like Taruva into that position, which is the way it looks right now. That was kind of what I'm playing with. I reversed these, but it hasn't saved. So that's fine. Lemuelu there, I would have had, then I could have gone Gilbert, who has the dual position, which I think is going to be good. He'll probably score 10 to 15 less, probably at least 15, less than Haas. But Lemuelu is going to be solid without being spectacular. he's going to make some cash. He's only averaging 49 with that low score. So in terms of price gains right now, I think Walsh is going to be a good one. He can continue to elevate me at the moment. Depends how long we hold him for. Hopefully we get to hold him all the way through to his bye. He shouldn't be playing Origin. And then I can score really well this week. Following weeks from here, I can have a little look at Tedesco, and hopefully we can eventually get him back in our squad. So that's my team at the moment, guys. Let me know your thoughts around that. I'm really excited, I think, to trade heavy over this first bunch of weeks. And once the team's pretty well set up, next week is a week that I think that I can just downgrade someone, or I can straight swap. So I can straight swap a Ben Murdoch-Masila for Josh Schuster, for example, in that second row forward position. Cartwright could be ready over the next few weeks to downgrade as well. And then hopefully one trade. And if anything comes up injury-wise, I could go the second trade. But hopefully over the next few weeks, now that my team's going to be pretty well set, I can look to hold some trades and then really build it back up again closer to the buys. If you're looking at some of my cheap guys, Warbrick, Camperera, Alamotti, we're not too stressed about those guys. Taruva, and then it's just really Davi Mwale and Murdoch-Masila. Other than that, I'm super happy with the team. I held Cleary. Who's going to be the captaincy option this week? I think it's Harry Grant, clearly. Other than that, guys like Tommy could be a good vice, but we'll work that out in the next couple of days. That's my team, guys. That remaining salary would be down closer to 0 if I go the Walsh version there and downgrade Munster to Dylan Brown. So that'll leave me with 39 trades. So using 7 over the first 3 weeks, I don't think it's crazy. Let me know what you're doing for trades this week. I'm very excited to see how the team goes, and hopefully we push into that top 5,000 after round 4. Good luck, everyone. See you later.